to turn to Lynn, and she's going to talk to us and give us the NADP view, as she said earlier.
Okay, good morning again. I see we have a few more participants now. Okay, I'm the operations manager of NADP and spend a lot of time communicating with all our members who are disability practitioners, not only in the UK but across the world now. I think there's a few really important things to say. It's going to be a bit of a whistle-stop tour due to the fact that we only have a limited amount of time, but I do have a handout which I've shared with AiMedia that you can actually download at the end. I think the most important piece of information to get across is on Monday, the Student Loans Company stated that they are not communicating new messages to all disabled students they support. Those messages should come directly from universities, so it can be tailored to fit in with the university support available. However, not all universities seem to have got that message yet, so I really wanted to put that one in at the start to make sure that universities are actually concentrating on communicating with their disabled students. My members at the moment are going a bit frantic, actually. They're supporting the emergency teams, they're supporting managers, they're helping academics get on with teaching online, they're working hard on examinations with new staff, and of course supporting other professional staff. So the workload is kind of shot through the roof at the moment, rather than them sitting back and having a bit of time to themselves. I want to very quickly go through a few sections. The first one is new students. We're having a few problems with this. We're really concerned that students may not receive support at the start of their course. The Student Loans Company are currently referring to organising bodies to confirm whether remote assessments are appropriate. And the announcement the day before yesterday was that SASC, which is the SPLD Assessment Standards Committee, have concluded that remote assessment is not appropriate, which means that those that are waiting for a diagnostic assessment before they can actually go for DSA will not be able to get it until they're allowed out and allowed into meetings. This is being challenged, so it's a case of watch this space, I'm afraid, on that one. Those that get to apply for disabled students allowance, and this touches on a question that we received, which was, will funding bodies accept email signatures from universities? And they have confirmed on Monday that the DSA team will accept an email from the university rather than requiring the university to stamp the form like they normally do. So that's good news. Study needs assessments. There's some companies that are carrying out very successful assessments remotely using Zoom and Skype. They have been told they're not allowed to do it by email, which I think is just sensible. And students don't have to have a remote assessment if they don't want one. And the assessments at the moment, they're reviewing ergonomic assessments because that also is difficult to do remotely. There again, you've got a bit of a problem for deaf students and blind students and actually accessing the assessment. So they may have to wait unless it can be done with captions of some sort. Examinations, of course, this is just so difficult and has had to be organised so fast. Most higher education institutions are prioritising final year students. Some HEIs are actually delaying or changing the format of exams for other years, and there's various procedures going on. One that's received a lot of attention in the press this week is a no detriment policy, where an average of the year's marks are calculated, and that will be the minimum they could get. Any exam marks will boost that if they're higher, but they can't get any lower than that, which has been very reassuring to a lot of students. There's various things like 48 hours to download and answer exam questions, which of course we've got to be careful with, because our students on the spectrum might think, right, I need to work constantly for 48 hours to get this done. So it really needs some careful consideration of how to word these things. Some have moved 3-hour exams to 4-hour exams for everybody, and those with 25% extra time are having a 5-hour exam. People are using Zoom and Skype for amanuensis. Prompts, people can ring in. There's all sorts of different ways, and I'm actually collating at the moment a series of case studies to help some of our smaller universities. When we get to current students' existing support, the cancellation policy for NMH still applies, and students can apply to have remote support. They have to agree. And the important thing is they can authorize payment for remote support by email. It should be the normal email they use, but if they can't get to this, they can use their university email. They're looking at course extensions because that might have to happen too. However, they have said that they will not authorize extra mentoring to assist students to cope with COVID-19, as it's not a study-related concern. Okay, when we're talking about teaching at the moment, we've mentioned we're on Zoom today. A lot of HEIs are using Microsoft Teams. That has an automatic captioning service, but they've had some real problems with bandwidth. They've issued several updates which have helped, but others are struggling with poor bandwidth and makes the captions unusable. Some are trying to use the automatic captions on PowerPoint. That is also working very well, but as soon as you navigate away from your PowerPoint to show them a screen for something else, you lose your captions. So that's two things that are happening across universities, but they're still trying to sort it out. I have in the handout a whole load of suggestions for setting up online conferencing for neurodiverse students and neurodiverse people in general. It can be difficult. There's just too many inputs coming in at the same time, but there's some thoughts on there. And just finally, to finish, it's really good that so many disability support managers have been included as part of their HEI's emergency response team. It's such a positive attitude to supporting our disabled students. Support is going on for disabled students using online conferencing. And the one that I'm really happy about is suddenly everyone's thinking about inclusive assessment. And one of our members, Amy Lowe from AbilityNet, said, "I keep thinking how we will look back at this time and say how much positive change it drove."